12 live from South Boston Speedway here on Glacier TV. With me in the booth today, I'm Will Vincent and Oscar Hardwick. Hello.
Hello.
So we're going to go for 40 laps here at South Boston here today. And these races, small fields, but very, very close racing. That's when you start saying something.
I'm aware I'm half asleep. Yes, indeed it is. This is this is the grassroots of oval racing here for us iRacers. Almost everybody, unless you've joined the last couple of weeks, started off in these Legends cars doing their oval stuff. So here, just a bit of fun, a bit of seeing what goes on further down the classes. Go broadcast a rookie race. As soon as the time is there, I think, unless Will Vincent wants to steal the thunder from me, I'll go through the grid that we've got here.
Go on then.
Oh, I'm being let's do something. How rare is that? So, there are 3 qualifiers. So pole position is Colby Vance with a 17.4, and second is David Barr with a 17.73. In third is Michael Driggers, and he is the last of our actual qualifiers with an 18.0. We then have the fairly bog standard non-qualifiers. You've got Brian Narducci, Wilson De Castro, Cullen Roberts, Thomas Matchin, Alexander Monteferrante, Scott Lantford, Ronald White, Samuel D. Montmollin, Marcus Pace and Chance D. Manning, rounding out all 13 of our drivers here at South Boston today.
Yeah, so South Boston, a 0.4 mile raceway. Just a little bit of banking, more than we see at Lanier, which was famously known as the other track which the iRacing service used to run the Legends car on before they moved it to the Advanced Legends Cup. As we said, we're going to be seeing some of the best iRacers in the world here today. The class of 2012 in the Advanced Legends Cup. And these 13 drivers, they are gridding up in just a matter of moments. And 40 laps here goes oh so quickly, Oscar.
Indeed it does. I mean, looking at it, you're going to probably get an average of roughly 18 seconds a lap here, so 18 seconds to 40. You can't do that in my head, but I think it works out just over 15 minutes for these guys, and just over 15 minutes for us, which in my boots is no bad thing, because it's getting on a bit here in the UK.
Yes. So we are waiting for the cars. They are gridding up momentarily. The number 12 machine of Colby Barnes is your pole position guy with David Barr in second and Michael Driggers in the third spot. This track very fast, and with the new time model that is incorporated into the Legends cars just a couple of seasons ago, it does mean that you have to approach this car slightly differently from the way you used to have to do so, and it really does mean that your tyres can fall off a little bit over the course of this 40 lap run.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have a couple of guys starting from the pit lane. Not always a bad decision in these races. Already some contact.
Yeah, and we're waiting for the field now. They are doing what will be the first of 2 pace laps here. They're going to go 2 laps behind the pace car, and they're going to go green for 40 laps of this beautiful South Boston Speedway, set in the heartlands of America, a very famous racetrack where many a driver starts their NASCAR career. Some of them moving over to the USAC side of things as well, going to sprints and midgets, and eventually up into the Izod IndyCar Series. So this place has got so much history, and we are waiting for the field. They're going to get the one to go this time by. And Oscar, this is going to be a crazy fast race.
Well, yeah, I mean, the number of times you see people throw it away in turn 1, it can be crazy fast in more ways than one for a few of these guys, but it's one to find out in a few moments. Alexander Monteferrante is in the number 5 car, the only driver opting to start from pit lane. We'll see how it goes for him. And it looks like we're nearly there. Safety car drops into pit lane, so away from the start we go. Good start from number 12, number 7, both breaking away at the front there. Everything seems to be clean further back.
Yeah, so for the most part, Evans got through turns number 1 and 2 already. We are already...
Oh, the number 7, David Barr's gone round, and he's collected. That was 3rd and 4th, and yep, there we go. There's your standardised... Oh, and they're still wrecking. And that's it. Samuel de Montemollen and Ronald White have taken each other out in a separate instant altogether. Already plenty going on, and field dwindling down somewhat quicker than you would have hoped for at this stage in the race.
Yeah, so the number 7 machine, early on, David Barr, that'll be disappointment for him as he started this race from the 2nd position, as Chant Manning also involved. He started this race in 13th. He is out of the race already in this race, and we are currently working lap 3. The 3 laps will be shown complete as they come across the line. And Colby Vance is your race leader, and Michael Driggers in 2nd, Thomas Matchin in 3rd. As you see there, Stephen, Matchin goes around from the 3rd position as he got himself up to high side. He goes around in that moment forward machine. He's going to call back to pit lane, and David Barr as well in the 7th.
Oh, dear.
Oh, big wreck there with Brian Nargidi in the number 1 machine. He goes round as well. Both these drivers trying to get back down to pit lane. And Nargidi trying to find himself down the quick range pit lane there. He's going to be careful that he doesn't get himself a disqualification penalty.
Well, in many disciplines, driving against the traffic
Barr's
like
round again, sorry. Barr's round again as he's trying to get himself back down to pit lane with that damaged race car. And sorry to interrupt you there, Oscar, but these drivers, they are going to get themselves one reset, so they have the opportunity to get themselves some repairs to their race car and hope they can finish this race off cleanly.
That's the way you've got to go. You just got to, especially at this stage in your iRacing career, it's a case of, as Brian Narducci looks like he sped and span off of pit lane there, but you've just got to. And then we've got Samuel de Montemolin is put it round again, and that's the number 9 car, currently scored position 10, but I think he might go back 1 position here. Oh, another wreck further around the track, and that's Thomas Matchin. And who else was that involved? It was Ronald White once again. Bad luck for Ronald White. Not actually doing any of this through any fault of his own.
Yeah, and I saw Alexander Monterelli down. As you see there, again, David Barr spinning it around. It looks like he didn't collect anyone this time, but he's got to be careful when he gets himself back onto the racetrack, and it looks like he's been able to get himself around, pointing in the right direction, so he turns left rather than having to turn that car right, as we're doing so often in this race so far. As I said, I believe I saw Samuel de Montelar involved in that last wreck, but we've only still got 4 drivers on this lead lap, and we still only have less than 10 laps complete here at South Boston.
Well, as is the nature of the track, the car, the series, and on more than one occasion the drivers, it's just what happens here. You lose out so early on, not a lot you can do about it.
So yeah, Colby Vance is, however, your race leader. The gap between himself and Stuart Lampher is 4.4 seconds. We're a further 1.1 second back to Michael Driggers, currently sat in the 3rd position, and Marcus Pace rounding out the cars on the lead lap in 4th. Alexander Montefiore, we're currently looking at him in the number 5 machine. He is currently scored his 1 lap down, rounding out your top 5, but coming under a little bit of pressure from Wilson Di Castro in the number 2 machine, currently riding in the 6th position. But Colby Vance, he's got to be very careful that he doesn't get himself involved in incidents when he tries to go around traffic, as we're currently having a look on board the number 5 machine of Alexandro Montefiore. As you see that great roll bar camera on this Legends car, it looks like the field has mercifully settled down just for the moment. As you see, we're looking at David Barr in the number 7 car. He has had himself a number of wrecks of bodies. He turns it around again in the number 7 car, back into the wall, getting himself a little bit of rear end damage. He should be able to drop it below that yellow line and get himself back on and going, as he's almost collected there. I believe that was Michael Driggers, who sat in the 3rd position momentarily. Driggers having a little bit of a heart attack there. Wilson Di Castro is currently sat behind, say, the 7 car of David Barr. But David Barr is having a difficult day here today.
Yeah, it's worth reminding you guys, this is just an average session from iRacing, so if anyone's watching this and thinking, oh, how do I get involved, although possibly not the best display of driving that you'll get from iRacing, head over to the site and give it a look. And this is what you start out in, pretty much, as David Barr pirouettes once again. I wouldn't want to see his incident sheet at the end of this one.
Yeah. So you're watching the iRacing Advanced Legends Cup, the class of 2012. David Barr, he is having a difficult day, currently scored now in the 8th position. Meanwhile, Colby Vance, he is still your... Sorry, Scott Lanther is now your race leader, as Colby Vance, I believe, is out. And we're probably going to get ourselves a replay of that, and I believe, coming down into turn number 1, the number 12 machine, the Colby Vance, just catches that yellow line, and he just spins himself hard right into the wall, and after having himself a 5-second gap, he is out of the race, and that is going to be disappointing for that number 12 machine.
Yeah, well, that was over and out of the race. As soon as you get going, it can get taken away from you as David Barr's spinning back through the traffic again.
Yeah, as you see now, the replay of Colby Vance. He just caught that yellow line there, coming through turns number 1 and 2. Got himself a little bit of a wiggle, then straight into that safety barrier on the outside. David Barr, however, he really has got himself some damage to his race car. I believe he is finally out of the race. Scott Lanther, he is your race leader. You're in the number 6 machine. Michael Driggers currently sat in 2nd. Marcus Pace in the 3rd position. Alexander Montefiore, he is currently sat in the 4th position with Wilson De Castro rounding out your top 5. I tell you what, De Castro and Montefiore, they are doing themselves proud, just cruising around. Yes, they're 1 lap down, but they're keeping it nice and steady out on the racetrack, and they're going to get themselves some nice, solid top 5 finishes if they continue like this.
Well, I mean, you hear drivers talk about racing for SR, and it's pretty clear that's what they're doing, racing for their safety rating here. Keeping it out of the walls, out of the wars as well, definitely worth pointing out. I mean, if you come home from these races with no incidents at this stage in your career, you're immediately going up through the ranks.
Yes, we're currently working lap 24 now of 40 here at South Boston. For those of you who are just joining us, you're watching the special presentation of this on Glacier TV. Will Vincent and Oscar Hardwick in the booth here today. As you see, Scott Lanther, he's trying to get himself around the number 4 machine of Thomas Matcham to put him now 4 laps down to come through turn number 3 and 4. As you see, the number 6 car, Scott Lanther, being very cautious. He's currently your race leader. He's got himself an 11-second gap almost to Michael Driggers, who's currently sat in the 2nd position, and he's just gapping it out now. His speeds have dropped down by about a tenth of a second over the last couple of laps. He just wants to get himself done.
So, approaching the 3/4 mark for this race. Like you said right at the beginning, it's one that's definitely going to fly past for you, and you do have to expect you go through the ranks, your last year, your late mark. Oh, and Scott Lanther's...
Oh, no! And he should be able to, if he can just get that car turned around, he should be able to keep the race lead. So long as he doesn't get down into pit lane, he's back above that yellow line. He should still have the race lead by about 3 seconds there. But that was almost heartbreak for Scott Lanther after inheriting the race lead about 10 laps ago. He is, however, still a race leader, but the gap is down now to 3.3 seconds between himself and Michael Driggers. I see behind him, I think that was Driggers there having a little bit of a spin behind. He's got a car in the
No,
wall
it
as
wasn't.
well.
It was Alexander Montefiore.
Yeah, that is the number 5 machine there, just spinning it around. And it looks like he's got himself a bit of damage. I have to apologise to Driggers there. He's run a clean race so far. But Montefiore, he is sat in that 4th position. We were just praising him a minute ago, but it looks like he started to push late on in this race.
Yeah, I mean, pushing is never something you need to do at this stage. Everyone's spread out, no one's really fighting for position. You just need to turn laps. Yeah, treat it as a practice session, treat it as testing. Take it easy, learn the car, learn the feel. I mean, I cannot imagine that many of these guys have been in iRacing any longer than a month at the moment, so still learning the cars as Scott Lanther just turns in a bit too early and has to correct up the track again.
But he keeps it pointing in the right direction. Let's not forget, we have had a couple of drivers who do specialise in the Legends cars. We've had a couple of drivers who know that's driven that for years. Drivers like Salma Laddak, who are known as the kings of the advanced Legends cars and the rookie Legends cars, as well as the street stock cars. However, with Scott Lanther, with less now than 8 laps to go, is still your race leader. Michael Driggers currently sat in the 2nd position. Marcus Pace in 3rd. Alexander Montefiore in the 4th position. Wilson De Castro still running at your top 5. Thomas Matcham in the 6th spot. Colby Vance in 7th. David Barr 8th. Samuel de Montalon in 9th. And Ronald Wright running at your top 10. However, we still only have 6 cars. He's even still in this race. Attrition very high here. And when you want to get yourself, you know, through this rookie period into cars like the late models, the IndyCar, the trucks, the the Impala B, the Impala A class, you don't want to be wrecking yourself out of races so early on in what is essentially a sprint race.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with the Legends is that you need to bleed it in. It's a car that's skittish when you start and actually finishes out being a lot nicer to drive at the end of the race, so you need to protect it whilst you can and then enjoy it at the end. And minus that spin, you've got to say that Scott Lampfert looking promising in this one. I mean, if he continues this way, no doubt we'll see him not doing too badly by himself later on in his iRacing career.
Yeah, I mean, Scott Lampfert, he has still got some competition. You know, he's had a good race here so far. He was very lucky that drivers like David Bart and Colby Vance, they had issues early on. You see Scott Lampfert, he's coming up behind this slower car of Marcus Pace. Sorry, in the wall. You see Marcus Pace from the third position. He's now going down one lap in that number 11 machine. Michael Diggers is currently the only other car on the lead lap apart from that number 6 car of Scott Lampfert. Ahead of Lampfert, you have got Thomas Matchin, who's currently scored us 3 laps down. Hopefully he might just move out of the way a little bit to allow Lampfert an easier way through. Yes, there's no blue flags in the iRacing service, but he doesn't have to. But when you're running for safety rating and running to get your iRating up a little bit for that car, it's just in case you see that 4 car just moving out of the way, he might still be able to get himself some good iRating gains here.
And this final lap, Scott Lampfert.
Yeah, come through turn number 2, nice and easy, down the back straightaway for the final time. Scott Lampfert, he's going to come through turn number 3 and 4 for the final time, and Scott Lampfert is going to win the iRacing Advanced Legends Cup class of 2012 here on Glacier TV. A great win for him. Michael Driggers, he's going to come home in the 2nd position in the number 10 machine. A great drive by him. Marcus Pace, we saw him have a little bit of a moment with just a couple of laps to go. He managed to nurse his car home in the 3rd position. Alexandra Montefarant comes home in the 4th spot, Wilson De Castro in 5th. But good drive there by Scott Lampfert, I have to say, Oscar.
Yeah, you can't really throw anything bad at him for that one. Consistency was key, and he was the only guy who showed any.
And for Scott Lampfert, as he advanced through his iRacing career, racing some of the greats and legends, some of the other drivers as well, he has got a good career perhaps lined up for him in this iRacing service with a nice, easy victory for him there. The gap between himself and Michael Driggers was 7.3 seconds across the line. I was going to go through the final results. Scott Lampfert either is your race winner. Gap between himself and Michael Driggers, 7.311 seconds. The only other car on the lead lap, Marcus Pace in 3rd. Alexandra Montefarant in the 4th position. Wilson De Castro in 5th. Thomas Matchin in the 6th spot. Then your retirees, Colby Vance, David Barr, Samuel D. Monteland, Ronald White, Brian Nakuri, Colin Roberts, and Chance D. Manning. And I'm going to have to ask you this one, Oscar. Who's your driver of the race?
I'm going to give it to Michael Driggers because he didn't spin.
Nice and simple. So there are still a couple of drivers whom are Scott Lampfert, Driggers, Pace, and that will have to meet in the advanced Legend series and also in the other rookie series as well. I think the license protection is really useful in the iRacing service. But so you still got some of the kings of the Legends and the street stocks to come. That is it from us, however, on Glacier TV for the special presentation of the Advanced Legends Cups, the class of 2012. We'll be back on Saturday when normal service resumes with the Talk Creek Racing Summer Super Cup from Mid-Ohio with the Cadillac C6Rs and the 4GTs, and then 400 laps, 600 miles around Charlotte Motor Speedway for the top split of the World Tour event, the World 600 from iRacing. Until that point, goodbye.